Welcome to The Kick, your expert-led podcast helping you explore and learn everything about getting pregnant, pregnancy, birth and becoming a parent.
On the podcast and our online pregnancy program, Grow My Baby, we share my experience of helping more than 4,000 babies to be born.
And our experience of running a women's health clinic and parenting 4 boys.
We're here to help everyone to feel empowered in pregnancy and birth with real-life practical information.
Welcome everyone, I'm Brigid Maloney.
And I'm obstetrician Dr. Patrick Maloney.
And today we've got a Q&A because we have so many and, you know, they're fun. I like them. I hope everybody else likes them as much as we do.
I think people do.
Yeah, good. We're going to, do our typical thing and start straight at it, Pat.
Good.
We're going to start now.
Good.
Okay. And I'm going to start by reading one.
Okay.
Yes. We don't normally read them. I thought it was a good one. Good. Thanks for your fab podcast. I'm a 36-year-old female who works in allied health, so have good health literacy, but I have a couple of specific questions. I thought you could do a generic version of them on the pod. While trying to conceive, should you stick to Class A drugs and pregnancy-safe foods? Given you might be pregnant, seems like it could be a long time to go without, though, depending on how long it takes to get pregnant, especially things like migraine wafers or runny eggs. So basically, if you're trying to get pregnant...
Yeah.
Should you actually already have a pregnancy
you already
safe?
are. Yeah. The simple answer is not really. The risks from these things are from when the pregnancy starts in most cases. There are a couple of things that need special attention. There are some drugs that are so bad for a pregnancy that you've got to be really, really, really careful that you don't get pregnant on that drug with a very reliable contraceptive plan. And then there are some drugs where once you stop using that drug, there's a known gap before you should get pregnant after using it. So I guess those things you've got to be – they're a special case. The majority of the other drugs, the risk only applies in pregnancy, and there is time to stop them when you get a positive pregnancy test and convert to something else before it becomes relevant. The foods – we should be a non-smoker anyway. We should be trying to maintain a healthy body weight and eat well anyway. But the specific risks again start when you're actually pregnant.
What about alcohol?
That's a good question. Alcohol is broadly thought to have there is a safe level of intake. And compared to, say, smoking, there's probably no safe level of smoking. So with alcohol, we would say that people should have a safe level suitable for somebody who is likely to want to conceive soon. So that's actually surprisingly little, but it's not none. Yeah.
So a glass every now and then, but not big wild nights.
Yeah, it depends. Are you trying or are you just thinking I might have a baby in a few months, but I'm actually still on the pill? Yeah, it's different.
It is different. And for people that are wondering about their medication and whether that medication is safe, what's the best thing for them to do?
This is the main indication for a pre-pregnancy GP visit. Yeah. So don't wait till you're actually pregnant. Go along, talk to your family doctor and say, right, I got this plan. I want to be pregnant by Christmas. What should I be looking at? And one of them will be a plan for medications, a plan for maximising the state of any pre-pregnancy conditions you've already got. So if you're known to have hypothyroidism, making sure you're on the right amount of your drugs, and then a plan for a pre-pregnancy genetic screen.
Yeah, which is free. If you're an Australian citizen with a Medicare card, it's now free to do that pre-genetic carrier screen.
Went from $400 to zero.
Yeah, good. A follow-up here is I live in a regional area, Goulburn Valley, Riverina area, and I always assumed I would have a private pregnancy and birth, but it appears that might not be possible. Being a type A vibe woman, expecting control and choice as well as an older mum meaning more risks, I was shocked that I was likely to have to drive 3 hours to Melbourne to see a private O&G. Is this safe or worth it, or should I just suck it up, her words, and go public at my nearest regional hub? My biggest fear is being treated by students.
Okay. All right. A little bit of background for listeners, particularly overseas. Australia has a a bit of an oddly distributed population, where the vast majority of the population live in big cities on the coast, and very few people as a percentage live the further inland you go. So you could be living in parts of any state in Australia where, despite being well resourced, you could be rich, you have the world's best private insurance, there may not be a private health facility there for you to use, and this is not uncommon. Yeah. So people from areas of Victoria not well serviced by private either might have a pregnancy in their local public unit, or they might travel for one-to-one private care. And your local public unit is likely to be is likely to have good data and good outcomes. The care by global standards is very safe. The problems people have is typically related to a lack of continuity of care. You might see someone different every time you go there. If there's a student involved in your care, they'll be supervised.
Yeah. And, maybe just quickly, can you say the levels? Like, so she doesn't mean a medical student. She means a registrar, which is the next level up. Yeah,
sure. So a student, an undergraduate student, somebody who's training to be a doctor at the most basic level, that person would always be supervised. And then if what we mean is a specialist in training, then those people, again, are supervised in the junior levels of their training, and less unsupervised the more senior they get, but that's appropriate because by then they have substantial expertise.
And if she's worried, like a registrar that's in their 5th or 6th year, they've been training for 13 years already.
Yeah, I think they're like the best obstetricians, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because if you're the senior registrar at a big hospital like the Royal Women's where I trained, you are supervising, monitoring and assisting with more babies in a week than someone in private practice might do in a month or several months. So that may actually be. They may actually be the very best obstetricians. Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe if she tries her local public hospital and the initial start isn't great, then she can make a different decision and say, yes, it is worth me going to Melbourne or Ballarat.
100%. And you can also be booked with two services. So for example, as the pregnancy progresses, let's say for argument's sake, it became clear that for some important reason, the baby either should be born by caesarean section or should be born by induced labour at 37 weeks or something, on the count of whatever condition XYZ, then that would give you the ability to get down to your private obstetrician in the capital city because you wouldn't have to come down in labour.
And we don't talk about shared care enough. Just very quickly, shared care is if you have a GP who might have a qualification called DRANSCOG, which is a diploma in obstetrics and gynecology. You might have someone in your town that does shared care. So instead of going to the public unit, you could be seen at your doctor's office and then...
Yeah, we utilise those people for even in my private practice. So I'll have people who are 2 or 3 hours away, and rather than bring them down every week to check their blood pressure, they have most of the checks locally and some key ones with me. And in the public, of course, we do that all the time. If somebody's got certain complexity, which means they need to be delivered in our big hospital, doesn't mean they need to have every visit in our big hospital.
So that might be an option for you too. You have most of your care in your local area, but you have your big appointments like your 12-week, your 20-week, and then probably your 30s and 40s. I mean, hopefully not 40s, but and then your birth at that hospital.
That's right.
I'm Kate Langbrook and I host No Filter. Celeste Barber.
Hi.
Welcome to No Filter.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, today we're diving into the world of G-Flip.
And your voice has always been such a calming, warm energy. So that's why I tear up, because you're always growing up with you around. So thank you.
Sally Hepworth, what a absolute jewel you are in the crown of artists.
Oh, thank you. This has been lovely.
Today, we're talking to Rosie O'Donnell.
I just want to tell you, this is one of the best interviews I've ever had.
If you love conversations that go deep and stories that stay with you, listen to No Filter. New episodes of No Filter drop every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
All right. I'm going to move on to our speak pipe now, Pat.
Hi, Dr. Pat and Brigid. My name's Bree. I'm from Perth, WA. I'm not currently pregnant. However, we are looking to start trying next month. I've just finished listening to all 191 episodes of your podcast in just over 3 months. I started on the 5th of January. It's taken me 95 days. And I just wanted to thank you that it's been a wonderful source of reassurance for me as an educational resource. I have OCD, so the idea of having to rearrange and make new plans every 2 seconds and all the uncertainties that come with pregnancy is certainly going to be something that I will need to practice on overcoming. However, my question today is more in regards to sleeping disorders in pregnant women. I also have diagnosed insomnia and was recently on quetiapine at a lower dose to help with that, which I've been recommended to come off due to it being a Class C drug. And I'm currently on some older antihistamines now, which are working, but I'm a little bit cautious of the fact that my sleep whilst I am pregnant might become more turbulent, and having existing insomnia probably isn't going to be great. I was wondering if there's any existing research or study around how many hours of sleep a pregnant woman needs to actually maintain a healthy baby. I know that 8 hours or 7.5 hours is obviously the gold standard, but I'd like to know how many hours we can feel reassured that whilst we might be feeling really tired, we're not actually doing harm to the baby. Any info you have on that would be great. I'll probably speak to you guys later. Bye.
Sleep in pregnancy is hard as it is, and yet you put on something on top with insomnia, like this poor lady. That's tough, isn't it?
It sure is. I think that's a great question because really, I think you found a few things on this, but I don't know tons about this. I would if someone was using a medication to help them sleep and wasn't pregnant yet, my usual advice would be keep using that thing, and we'll change you over when you actually are pregnant. In pregnancy, we use, the insomnia can be really quite something. It's thought to be an effect of the progesterone from the placenta on the sleep-wake centre in our brainstem that makes us go to sleep and then sets a timer and wakes us up again. And that can be really quite disturbing. And then, of course, in the second half of the pregnancy, you add to that fetal movements, pressure on your bladder, and musculoskeletal pain in your hips, so that it's uncomfortable in one position for very long. And then it's a miracle you get any sleep. We use those category A antihistamines quite a bit because they are powerfully sedative and really quite useful, but also category A. So they can be really, really worth using. But in terms of how much sleep we're supposed to get to have a safe pregnancy, what did you find?
So I found a couple of studies. One that said that there's a median sleep. So the median sleep during pregnancy for the general population is 7.2 to 7.5 hours a night.
That sounds better than I thought. Yeah,
normal. Like that's as much as I get.
Yep.
And then another study that said that too much, more than 9 to 10 hours a night, or too little, less than 6 to 7 hours a night, has an association with a higher risk of gestational diabetes.
Diabetes? That's interesting.
So mostly people said it's about quality of sleep, but there's a lot of observational studies, but there's no real study that we could probably hang our hat on there.
That's interesting. And did they look at mental health in that study?
No.
Because I think the people who are sleeping way too much or way too little might have a pre-existing mental health problem, or it might create its own mental health problem. Yeah.
So, I don't know how this caller's going with her sleep. She didn't mention how many hours she's currently getting. There was another study that said that people who are having more than an hour nap during the day have higher risk of things like hypertension and gestational diabetes too. But whether, that's something that we can hang our hat on, I don't know.
I'm not aware of any big number, highly influential studies on this. We could keep looking. It's a very interesting question. One thing that the caller should take into consideration is that, yes, she's got some OCD now and she's been medicated and so forth, but some people just go way better than they think they're going to. Yeah, it's easy if you're thinking about pregnancy in advance, and I guess if you've got OCD, to worry in advance about things that may not actually happen. Yeah.
Good luck, Brie. I hope it all runs smoothly for you and you get pregnant in the next month or so, as you clearly want to. Like, you're doing so much pre-work. That's so great.
Good luck.
Keep listening.
Hello, Holly Wainwright here. I'm an executive editor at Mamma Mia, and I have been part of this business, an independent women's media company, for more than a decade now. I have seen a lot, but being independent has always meant that we don't have anyone telling us to play it safe or to avoid the topics that feel a bit too messy or uncomfortable for a boardroom full of dudes to handle. And I never take that for granted. If we help you feel a little bit less alone or more connected through the conversations with fascinating women that Kate Langbrook's having on No Filter or one of our other shows, or if we help you feel more informed with the stories that your group chat is really reading on the Mamma Mia app, please consider, please, becoming a subscriber. Because your support really helps us keep telling the stories that matter to Australian women. As a Mamma Mia subscriber, you get unlimited access to everything. Every article, every video, and every single podcast we make. You can even move with me. Subscribers get full access to our at-home fitness app, including my new weights program launching soon, I promise, with an expert and not just me. Subscribe to Mamma Mia today. Support independent women's media. There's a link to do that in our show notes.
All right, let's move on to this one. Patty?
Hi, Dr. Pat and Brigid. Thank you for your podcast. I absolutely love it. My name's Laura. I wanted to share my personal experience of having a partial molar pregnancy. It happened a few years ago when I was 28. We started trying for a baby, got pregnant on the first try. We felt so fortunate, so lucky. And then at the 11-week mark, I had a scan and it confirmed that I had miscarried. So I had a D&C. Following the D&C, I bled heavily for about 6 weeks. I had blood tests done, and my doctor sent me to get a pelvic ultrasound. And that ultrasound confirmed that I had retained products of conception. So I had a second D&C. And at that point, I received the news that I had originally a partial molar pregnancy. So I remember at the time they said, oh, you do have a higher chance of having a second partial molar because you've had one. I can't remember what the odds were. I've subsequently had 2 little girls, easily complication-free, and I've kind of wondered whether there's a genetic component to being prone to having partial molar pregnancies or molars. It was such a confusing time. I remember talking to friends about it and they just had no idea, and I hadn't heard about it at the time, and I know it's really rare. I just wondered if you have any personal experience in managing partial molars and what your knowledge is of them. Thank you. Bye.
All right, Patty, molar pregnancies is quite a big topic, and I think we've covered that elsewhere, so we're going to put that into the show notes. But do you think this caller is asking because she wants more children, or is she worried about it having a genetic component for her children?
Yeah, that's not clear, is it? But in either way, she's talking about whether you can be predisposed to these things. And I think if really molar pregnancy is sort of bad luck on the day when the sperm and egg come together, and there are protocols for managing those. We do the curette, we find the molar pregnancy material, and then depending on the genetics of that particular pregnancy, we say you can try for another pregnancy after so many weeks, or it might be a longer period necessary between pregnancies before you can try again. As long as we follow those rules, the risk for the next pregnancy is low. Then there is a rare genetic problem that people can have where they are actually genetically predisposed to molar pregnancies. And this is something I only learnt when we researched this question. I didn't really know about this. So you can actually carry a gene that predisposes you. So there is actually a a way that people can be genetically predisposed towards molar pregnancies, and it's something called familial recurrent hydatidiform mole, which is actually a genetic predisposition. And there's some authoritative bodies suggest that if you've had 2 molar pregnancies, you probably should be tested for that gene. Yeah.
But yeah, so whether this woman's asking for her own girls or not, like, you know, you're not recommending that her girls get tested or...
Not if she's only had one. That's much more likely to just be bad luck. Yeah. It's like the old discussion about, you know, early pregnancy loss. If you have one, there's unlikely to be severe underlying pathology, but the more you've had in a row, the more likely there is to be severe underlying pathology.
Good. Thank you so much for calling in and telling us about your molar pregnancies and that you had 2 healthy girls. I hope they're going super well.
That's brilliant.
All right, let's go to this caller.
Hi, Dr. Pat and Brigid. I recently started listening to your podcast. I started on the episode Pregnancy 101, which is perfect timing for me. Me and my partner, we are thinking of starting to start trying to get pregnant. I'm 33 and my partner is 35. And I'm diagnosed with hypothyroidism. I've been keeping it on, I've been managing with my GP and my levels are correct. She's tested me for PCOS and there's no signs of it, but I have irregular periods. I've always had irregular periods. It ranges from 30 to 50, sometimes 62, sometimes even more. And I'm thinking, how do I know when I'm ovulating, or how does getting pregnant with that work? Would love to know your answers. Thank you.
Before I start, can I just do a little sidebar and say we need to do another episode on PCOS because it's now called PMOS.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So there's been an update.
We could do that. Yeah.
But anyway.
Good question.
This is, very irregular periods, aren't they?
Yeah, so dear to our heart, because we don't like people to... When people come in and say that they've been trying for a year and they're still not pregnant and they've come along because they've been trying for a year, but they've had a significant problem with one of the ingredients that was obvious at the start, then that year could have been a kind of waste of time. And that's always a bit disappointing and frustrating because we would rather have helped that person a year ago. Yeah. So this cycle is highly abnormal and there's every chance you're not ovulating at all. So we would not want this person to come along and see us after a year of trying. We would want to sort this out now. Okay. So through a dedicated women's health GP or a specialist obstetrician and gynecologist, we want to try and work out what's wrong. There's some things that are relatively straightforward to rule out. There are some things that blood tests will need to rule out. And then there's a group of women who just aren't ovulating for no apparent reason. Some of these things are correctable and others not. It is possible to have a really prolonged cycle like this and still be ovulating, but it can be very difficult to track down exactly when that ovulation is happening. And the problem with that is that unless you're a newlywed having sex every day, it's hard to time intercourse around the ovulatory time if you don't know when that is. So with a cycle that's really long like this, we would want to try and work out, is there any evidence of ovulation? And we can do that with some serial blood tests. More likely there's not, and the bleeding just comes when it's ready. And that needs to be corrected before you get pregnant at all. Yeah. So this is someone we would like to meet with, investigate, and treat.
Yeah. So she needs a referral to a gynecologist, doesn't she?
Now though. Not in a year. Yeah.
Don't wait. Don't wait. I hope that, if anything, starting to listen to our podcast and stuff, if you want to get pregnant, don't wait. please go and see a gynecologist.
The waiting times are for people whose ducts are in a row. Okay, so we've got a healthy partner. The cycle is normal and there's no pelvic pain. Yeah. So definitely needs some attention now.
All right, Pat. Well, that's all we've got time for today.
Okay.
There's lots in there.
Yeah, we've got some more in the tank. We'll have to do another one.
Do another one? Yeah,
okay.
We'll do another one. And if you want to get your voice on our Speak Pipe, we would love to hear from you. We love answering your questions. So just go to either the show notes or to our website, growmybaby.com.au, or we've also got a link in our Instagram bio. Lots of ways that you can get on there. And it's just a really simple click and speak, and you don't have to sign up to anything, which is also nice in these days of having your inbox full of stuff. So you won't ever hear from Speak Pipe again.
No, we just want to hear your voice.
You just want to hear your voice.
Yeah.
All right. So, yes, do that. Obviously, people who are in the Grow My Baby program get priority. So if you want a little sneaky tip, just jump on into the program where you get lots of weekly information about what we think happens at that particular week of your pregnancy. And we would love to see you in that program. All right. Until then, keep well, keep growing those babies.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
See you next week. Bye for now. Hey, even though Dr. Pat is, well, a doctor, and we get lots of other doctors and other experts on our podcast, I just need to remind you that this podcast is for informational purposes only. We share lots of medical insights and experience, but everything we talk about is general in nature and may not apply to your specific situation. Please always consult with your own healthcare provider for your individual medical advice when you grow your baby.